Welcome back, here with Goldberg. Today I wanted to talk about looks, money, and status, which is more or less an unquestioned rule in the broader manosphere, and our subject today is not going to totally dishevel that, but it does raise some interesting questions. I do want to note here, this is not meant to be derogatory towards the people discussed. We're simply doing cultural anthropology, okay? There's no hidden agenda. It's just trying to start a discussion. That's my intent, and nothing more. So, if you look at the president's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr. or Donnie Trump, he has pretty much everything that LMS suggests, right? So, just considering it for a second, he is quite tall, he's got good hair, he's handsome. I'm sure the suppository red pillars will chime in and claim, well, he's got a receding jawline, which is not the end of the day, but yes, similar to his dad, he has that. These are the same folks who will make the argument, like when I was talking about alpha males, that Brad Pitt is not handsome or desirable to women. So it just gives you a sense of where they're coming from. But at any rate, Donnie Jr., or Trump, he has a lot of money. He actually has decent status as well. He was on The Apprentice show. He's now a very prominent political figure. And, you put that into context, you could say, well, he's a beta male. Not really. He grew up working on New York construction sites. He also did landscaping during the summer, so he's not like, oh, he's had a silver spoon in his mouth at all times. And yet, it's really interesting when you see with his marriage. So, this goes back to, I believe, 2005. He married Vanessa Hayden. I think that's her name. A very attractive model and socialite. And you're thinking, well, yeah, obviously he's handsome, he's got money, he's going to get a model. But this is the really peculiar thing. So, before she was with Donald Trump Jr., she actually was dating the son of the Saudi ambassador. I actually got the two confused. I thought it was the ambassador. And this guy, young, rich Saudi guy, but of course, in large part, his money comes from Saudi Arabia, which if you knew anything about the government, you'd say that's kind of bizarre. And they were planning to have kids and get married. Like, it's not... They were just kind of having a fling. So she dates the Saudi sheik, who his looks are definitely inferior to Donald Trump Jr.'s, I would argue. Some people will probably dispute that, but you can take a look if you wish. And before that, I believe she was dating Leonardo DiCaprio. So, okay, that's a high-status dude, I suppose. He's an actor and whatnot. But again, we're putting this in the context of who Donald Trump Jr. is marrying. Because Donald Trump Jr. might not be Leonardo DiCaprio, but he's well-established, he's handsome, and he's relatively famous. But even before DiCaprio, when she's in high school, she's dating this Valentin Riviera, who he's not exactly a Chad Drake if you look at his features, although he wasn't bad-looking. She's from this, illustrious, rich lifestyle, going to private school, and she's dating a dude who ultimately ended up, he was a member of Latin Kings, and he ended up going to Rikers on assault charges. Well, while she was dating him, she's driving him around, delivering weed, taking him to gang meetings, essentially helping him in his exercise in petty crime, and writing that she wants to have a baby with this dude. One thing to note, just as an aside, by the way, the whole concept of the wall, I would say that Vanessa Trump did better with the wall than Valentin Rivera. I'll link to the article. He didn't quite, age like fine wine. Sorry, red pillars. But at any rate, the reason I bring that up is that if you take the totality of that background, you have Donald Trump Jr., who is supposedly a high-status dude who ends up basically marrying and having 5 kids with her when she's got that background. So I'm not just talking about dating other people. You're saying the type of people you're dating, right? Someone who's cucking and shilling for Saudi Arabia and the stuff that they do, which is, Saudi Arabia is a horrible regime. If they collapsed into the desert, I really wouldn't feel bad, to be honest with you. Dating a petty criminal. This is who Donald Trump Jr. ends up marrying and having kids with, and presumably giving money when it came to a divorce settlement. But okay, whatever, you say, you might make this argument, maybe we're getting it wrong. Maybe wealthier people, what they do is they say, look, this marriage is a sham, I just want someone who's got, good genetics, is attractive, so my kids don't have any problem in that regard. So I could sort of understand that whole argument, I suppose, although it's still kind of bizarre. But then Donald Trump Jr., after this, And it appears to be a serious relationship because he brings it up in his book Triggered, like, they're going somewhere. He's now in a serious relationship with Kimberly Guilfoyle, who she's attractive and she's, accomplished a lot of different things. But there again, you're saying, is this really the best that Donald Trump Jr. can get? Kimberly Guilfoyle, she was married to Wayne Newton? No. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. He was at the time mayor of San Francisco, married to him, then they broke up, and he went on to Jennifer Siebel. Then she married this guy and had a kid, and then she dated Anthony Scaramucci. That's just bizarre in of itself. I don't know why anyone would want to touch Scaramucci, to be perfectly honest with you. And then she ends up with Donald Trump Jr. So this is a guy, again, son of the president, very wealthy, very prominent, well-known, respected, at least if you agree with his politics. And he's going for, this middle-aged single mom. Again, nothing against the people involved. I'm just pointing it out. It's kind of odd. You would think if looks, money, status played out, unless they're going to now claim that there's various hierarchies within that whole system, you'd think that Donald Trump Jr. would be getting some, young, hot thing, and yet he's going for a single mom. And I'm honestly curious, when you see a lot of these richer guys who will marry, older actresses or even single moms, you're wondering, where is the disconnect? Are you really going to write them off all as betas, or is the dating market that bad that even people with all those resources don't have the ability to secure perhaps someone who has a less spotty past? Not saying that, they have to be a virginal at birth or something, but rather someone who's just not going to have all that baggage with them. You would think a rich person would investigate the person they're marrying, but I guess it just doesn't happen. So that's an interesting dynamic with looks, money, status. In the case of Donald Trump Jr., he's pretty much batting on average with your typical beta provider male. So, take that and go with it, I suppose.